the Japanese gaming tradition, such as it is, Nintendo notwithstanding, came out of the arcade experience. That was the catch line for us with PlayStation 1 is the arcade in the home.
Yeah.
We'll bring 3D arcade gaming into your house. And so, it's built on the back of Ridge Racer and Tekken. And laterally, things like Street Fighter, which came across from, the Sega platforms onto PlayStation. And the psychology or the design sensibility around building arcade games is really about how much fun for a 100 yen coin. I'm going to drop 100 yen in the slot. How much fun should, as a player, I expect to have, and as a developer, how much should I feel good to give? If it's not enough, they won't drop another coin. If it's too much, they won't drop another coin. But if it's just in the right space, the classic, Tekken, you finish your battle, then it goes continue, 9, 8, 7, and you reach for that coin and you just drop it in the slot. And that's how they built their games, very much around the impact of that moment and how to make that moment super attractive and compelling that you want to see more of it. They took that, I think, into PlayStation games with that same kind of sensibility, very artisanal or very craft-like in how they would build every moment to be itself a little jewel, but again to propel you further into the game. Um, I think a lot of Western games rely more on big epic moments with a lot of running through the forest between them, and uh, that's kind of a different stylistic take on the building of it. I know now it's going to go out there and get all kinds of comments about people telling me that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I'm just, from my experience, when I look at it, that's what I see. I see a lot more attention to detail in the Japanese game development experience, which conversely made it really hard at the time for the Japanese game developers to move onto a platform like PS3, which had a very complicated architecture.
Yeah.
Sorry guys. Um, and there was a cost of entry to get into that. It was going to take more people to build games for that, and the Japanese teams are typically as small as they can be to get a thing done. So that leap was hard, and I think that whole PS3 generation was a tough time for most Japanese developers who are looking at the real intricacies of the game development experience. But boom, now you're on Blu-ray disc. You have infinite space to build your game out into. So it was a quick on ramp, I think, for high-end PC developers in the West to move into the console space because there's more perhaps continuity between those two development environments. Um, but that said, I think the Japanese development community came back on PS4. They've got some great games in that generation that once they've conquered the enormity of the dev challenge, then they can get back still with their attention detail and create some of the titles you see coming from places like From Software.
Yeah, and it also feels like with the West, maybe there's a bit more Hollywood influence within how the production works in terms of chasing photorealism and the whole cinematic
Yeah,
narrative thing, which obviously adds a lot to the cost in terms of the development of a game.
absolutely. Um, yeah, well, in the West, go big or go home. Is that what they say?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And everything just got enormous in its scope and its reach and its ambition. And to your point, that brings a lot of costs associated with it.